to see what he's going to go with. Now, the Rumble is still available, and I think that's a pretty easy pickup here. Pretty blindable, fairly strong into most meta matchups right now, even the Cassante. So, you know, Dundun locks this one in. He's going to have a pretty guaranteed strong matchup. But instead, they opt to band-aid the Fisher champion pool problem here and just take the early Hui.
Kind of, it doesn't, the joy sparking is not happening.
It's not there.
A lot. Because Rumble has been extraordinarily strong. I think that that would have been a great prize for the blue side. I feel like you're not like, haha, I have Hui. You know, I feel like you could have picked that on B3 and probably got away with it.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of spark making, this is it, okay?
Yeah.
This is rubbing, you know, some things together that can make a fire. This is hitting a hatchet on a rock right with right in front of you. The Hui first pick is like two pieces of paper rubbing together, Atlas. You're not getting any sparks out of that.
No.
And there's the Rumble as well. And this is what I'm talking about on red side. You make one tough call because Fisher's champion pool is thinned out. You ban the Talia, the Corki's gone, the Tristana's gone. Boom, D+ Kia get Aiming's best champion. And he's probably hitting his milestone.
Yeah, does he get 9 today in this game? Yeah, no, the Rumble really stands out to me. We've seen it basically permabanned, has so much threat towards that top side. Sylvie, considering the Viego definitely has been his priority pick for the majority of the time that he's been in Korea. In the LCK.
And, I mean, the Viego doesn't have poor synergy per se with Hui, but it's not the Talia Viego, it's not the Ari Viego that we've known and loved. Now, this pick here does, you know, if we're going on the Joy sparking, it's a little bit closer to Joy in terms of at least being a meta pick that can follow up on dive really well, depending on how the rest of this draft goes. Is great into Zeri in isolation and can sometimes blow her up in the 1v1 on the side of a fight. We've seen it very rarely, but you do have those opportunities. But Kellen ends up getting the Alistair here, and they've already got their bottom duo locked up. And Showmaker, he already knows the mid matchup.
Yeah, he can decide to pick something into it if he would like to, or they can take away the cow. Definitely a consideration. I would have also thought that, I mean, Kai'Sa would have definitely been banned in the next.
It does kind of feel like it's a Lee Sin angle. I wanted to say it first because it's Lucid, right? And you have this immobile Hui, and you can kind of outpace the Viego too, as well as in terms of how you want to set up these team fights. You already have the Alistair, so you've got insane peel for the Zeri already. You've taken away the Nautilus. It's probably going to be Leona. Okay, throwing a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
Poppy, pretty high skill to play that one in the bottom lane. I'm not sure if I'd rely on that one if I am Red Force here. For Guger, the Leona, you know you're likely playing into in the bottom lane also feels pretty strong. The Lee Sin into that, as you can kind of kick away and disengage with this pick.
Yeah, the Udyr are going to be locked in. We have seen it dominate. I believe it was Keen that was really sort of running the matchup. This is one of those things that we have spoken about in the past. It hasn't really found a whole lot of success if you just play the lane neutral. But the way that Keen was doing it, you're living permanently behind their turret, you're pushing them in consistently, and then you're making sure that you always have that push and the pressure towards that top side. That might be how Dundun can play it, but we haven't necessarily seen that from him so much in the past. I
really like that they just commit to the Leona because they were hovering the Galio, they were hovering the Poppy, and you know those are picks that are viable and actually quite strong for this draft. But are you really comfortable playing that in this scenario against such a strong team, against such a strong opponent? And this was the Showmaker LeBlanc angle. He's just going to play this mage matchup in mid. He's got so much mobility, and with the LeBlanc plus the Lee Sin here, you just run circles around this immobile Hui. And Kai'Sa going into this composition is going to be so tricky because you have so much burst dams in the LeBlanc, the Lee Sin is there, and then you also have the Alistair. So coming into trying to assassinate, blow up a single target with the Kai'Sa, with the Hui burst damage, it's definitely possible. And they've got good CC to set it up. If Zeri does get caught by Udyr even once, and then the Viego falls up, the Solar Flare is there, then you can get punished. But aiming has just been so solid this whole year at avoiding those types of situations. His positioning is phenomenal, an already high mobility champ. That Nautilus ban really stinging right now. And the Viego didn't really feel like it was worth it.
I think that's how that one goes.
Okay,
as he's not managing to split this one. Dundun is just gonna get cut in half. First blood solo kill for Kingen.
His face on the player cam as well. He's just super frustrated with the situation.
Depending on what boots are going to be purchased, but he goes back, gets a Haunting Guise first buy. You love to see that. Kellen taking a bit of damage. Sylvie's making his way in, aiming, gonna dash, immediately cleansed. And now Kellen able to walk his way out, but that is no flashes. They do get the long cooldown on the newly nerfed cleanse. That is going to be that. And
he's good at it.
Yeah, he's good at being more subtle about it, though. Is Kingen not finding that trade necessarily, as ulti comes through from aiming here on the bottom side. Killer Instinct defensively from Jiwoo, who gets back to a decent position. Good slowdown here from aiming, who's getting a lot of value from this electricity. And there's the flash forward, gets the pulverized mini stun into the wall there as Guga looks to try and turn it, and Jiwoo is going to take down Kellen. Burst Fires need to land aiming. They've got a ward in that brush, and the barrier is going to get utilized. Aiming's cleanse does nothing, and Jiwoo flashes behind him. It's a 2-for-1 in the bottom lane as the equalizer comes down, and Lucid's going to get punished. DPLUS, what's going on?
DPLUS falling apart at the seams here, and you've got to respect that Kai'Sa passive stacking up the plasma.
Just put it down. He just put it down. As now Jiwoo is going to get punished. They call in the cavalry. Lucid says, all right, well, you got some summoner spells, guys, so let's just go with Worth. They do manage to even the scoreline. Guga is just trying to walk his way out, gets the Eclipse back, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough here. No flash available as aiming dashes in, picks up the kill. So,
well,
3-1, and maybe we're getting like a it has to be certified, but we don't feel great about it situation.
Yeah.
They can get the rest of them, as Lucid is here, wanting to collect 5. Safeguards over to Kellen. And now with Dundun on that inside track, they've got an equalizer coming down, though. This is so dangerous as Guga chained up and will now get taken down. Does land a decent solar flip. There's no one else there. That is going to be Kingen collecting a kill for himself. Spiraling. Despair's not really going to do anything. And all right, Showmaker now finding the chains as Jiwoo gets himself out. Yeah, and that is going to be Sylvie locking it down. Lucid was just holding position. There's the kick over the wall. Oh, no! Oh, that was so weird. They just trade positions about 11 different times, and Sylvie gets out. That was just miscommunication between the two of them. Very cute there from Lucid, but ultimately made things worse, as now Fish are going to have to flash the wall to get out of the way, but they got their prize. That is 2 Drakes. There's a Chemtech, and as we saw, Orcs wasn't on the couch, and that's exactly why. 100% responsibility going to Daniel Harrison for this one.
Yep, it's 100% his fault. Fisher.
Yeah, and there's the flash in. It's an angry cow. And aiming is going to be able to pick up his 4th.
He's almost halfway there.
Kingen is doing his very best. Majora's Mask, you know, I'm the... Okay, that's a flash in. And Showmaker just stands his ground. Goes back to his Distortion as well. Lands the chain. That is going to be the Q connecting there as well. Distortion for some extra damage. Lucid baits him in a little. Decides that he doesn't want to go too far. Didn't have flash, so no kick flash is available. And aiming now, just taking some control of the river for the minute. It's getting a little bit dicey there, Wolf. Yeah, 4,000 gold is the lead. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, Jiwoo is now going to get ulted on here by aiming. Killer Instinct comes in. Can he actually get it? He finds the 1v1 as the Ignite will pick up the kill here for Kellen. But Jiwoo, that was a statement move. My God. Died to fire at the end.
Yeah, but ultimately, he's making plays while his team is behind.
Look at those empowered autos, by the way. As Dundun's getting cut down, Guga is on a flank angle, but Kellen's here as well. Equalizer comes in, connects onto both as Solar Flare will stun up Kellen for the minute. Sylvie getting on in here, sees the ward though, and he's not going to be able to do anything about this one. Showmaker is going to take down Dundun first and see whether he can get this pesky Viego.
He's an ice cube in the hot summer sun.
And now Guga is able to sidestep the Sonic Wave, but not able to do too much more. Double stun does come on through there. What does it mean? It means he's dead. Aiming going to lock down that kill. And now,
they're coming!
Sylvie and Dundun are all just getting burnt to a crisp.
They're coming at
by
us.
This Rumble as aiming. He's going to dash on in, finds the ulti. Dundun's going to get burst fired down, and it's a massacre. A double comes in for aiming. Have full control of this dragon. That's the danger. As Rift Herald is going to get piloted by Guga here. Equalizer comes on down as Lucid. They're trying to push him out of this pit. Showmaker dives in though, and Jiwoo's going to get knocked up by the cow. It is going to be the secure of the dragon by NONGSHIM, but is this the sacrifice that costs them the game? I don't know whether it's exactly this moment that gets there, but it does get a triple kill for Kingen as Fisher is able to Mega Blast Cone his way out of dodge, but the rest of the team not so lucky.
Yeah, no kills for aiming on this one. And there's nothing NONGSHIM could do about it. They can't even be anywhere close. So we're going to go back to this play here. There's the teleport here that's called out by Kingen from Fisher. He just walks it off, avoids everything, and then is like, all right, I'm slowing him down.
And this is where we caught up to the play. Kingen, of course, providing information that his ultimate is down. But look at that. He just, like, he pre-cooks them, and then aiming grabs it and puts it in the microwave. Abyssal Mask now done. He really is a mask salesman, is good old Kingen. As NONGSHIM now going to look for Showmaker, who does want to get that distortion back off cooldown. Mimics it there as well. As you can see, Dindin, he runs really quickly. Showmaker going to get slowed down for the moment. Let's see whether he can get out. He cannot, as he is going to burn down. That is going to be the kill going over to Jiwoo. But the answer is all of NONGSHIM's stuff exploding.
And it's a reasonable setup here for DPLUS with the 1-3-1, because you know Showmaker, if he gets collapsed on, can survive for so long. Kingan's already shown what he can do if they try to kill him.
I mean, this is the answer, right? Like, please leave it alone as Showmaker takes an auto or two. Solar Flare does come on through here. Showmaker is just dead. That is going to be Google locking that one down. DPLUS can actually salvage the situation. It's not looking good for Kellen as we ask that question. Two are now dead. Aiming, skating his way out. Kingen, he does go golden. That's going to buy them some time. Aiming now behind the rest of his team. Great kick does come on through. And oh god, the wallets are too heavy. Another triple for Kingen, and Lucid finishes off Jiwoo in the end to win the game. DPLUS.
Dindin's head on the table. Not his finest performance in the matchup. He opted into this one with the Rumble going over to DPLUS, and man, he's just so fed. He's got Riftmaker, he's got Abyssal Mask, and he just kind of walks away and then burns them all to death. It looked good for NONGSHIM until Kingen said no, it does not. 8-0-7, perfect KDA, and DPLUS take it.
They're like, it's like the rebirth of Kingen this season, because he has had some real lows. And recently it hasn't been his time, but my god, we're getting some 2022 World's Kingen right now, and that is absolutely fantastic to see, because we do know what this guy's capable of, and not being able to see that on a consistent basis has been pretty sad. This, though, absolute, utter redemption for the man.
Absolutely.
Tristana, both of them, pretty good. So as long as they're in the tease realm of choosing champions, I think they're feeling okay. And Tristana is going to be their poison that they will choose this time.
Let's see if Fisher is confident enough to play the Talia that was banned last game around, because that ban kind of indicates to me that, you know, maybe he's not so comfortable playing that in some of these tough mid matchups against Showmaker right now in this meta. As, you know, if you want to put Sylvie on an AP jungler this time around, okay, they're just going to deny the Zeri with this red side. That is a really interesting call. Let's see if DPLUS just grab the Nautilus this time. I mean, you could just go Zeri Nautilus and go, aha, you can't have it.
Oh, wait, they could also just send a Nautilus.
True.
That
so you probably
need
to take that Nautilus here.
I would suggest Nautilus denial would be a good move. Certainly a lot of other options that you can run with the center as well, but because these bans have been so different, it's a really interesting move. So there is the Azir consideration. They say, thanks for the Silas ban. Not that it's all that relevant, because Tristana's already picked up.
I'd rather them go for the Azir here than what they were hovering instead. But this has been a very back and forth matchup, the Talia Azir. We've seen it so much. You know, you think back to BDD's summer season last year, playing it into the Azir so often.
Oh, Lucid was almost allowed to have fun, Wolf.
Oh,
did you see that on his face? He was like, but Showmaker, couldn't I just play Talia? And he's like, no, it'd make me too upset. I'm too good at Talia.
So they just want to hard force an art. What's really interesting about this to me is it really indicates the Silas ban makes a lot more sense now. It really indicates that Kingen is saying, I'm going to win top lane again against this guy. And he wants to sit on a weak side champion up there where he can't get destroyed in lane. So we'll ban the Skarner that basically wins or at least absorbs everything. He wants to play Cassante. I've got the Gnar already. He's going to prioritize that early in this draft and keep the bottom side a little bit of a secret. Yep. The Viego going to be prioritized here again for Sylvie. Had a great individual game on the pick. On his own. They had the successful invade. He was able to pick for the season. Not to have been forced onto it, but does seem like the pick he likes to play the most. But they'll ban Nautilus instead. Those are the two contentious picks. Guger got punished a lot on Leona in week 1. He got punished a lot on Leona in game 1 of this series, so I don't think they're too worried about it. And now this is the angle where you pick the Gnar early, and now this is so uncomfortable for Dindin. You don't need to protect the Gnar pick or anything like that, because he's probably just going to play Cassante. It's a good matchup for the Gnar.
Yeah.
Got so much good lockdown with this Maokai already. It's a Dindin pick, but it's a rough spot for it, but this is where we're at right now after he got completely destroyed in lane in game 1. Now he has to opt into his comfort Cassante. Cassante is still strong, don't get me wrong. Great front line for the Zeri, but rough into this. And now this is the other pick I was going to talk about earlier, but I forgot to mention.
Kalista Renata on 4-5?
And it's just, what do you do?
Well, you desperately try to find something to pick into it alongside a Zeri, and there's not that many good options. I mean, there is still Rel, I guess, if you want to go for that one, or you could pick something with a little bit more range. And none of the options really feel all that good.
I feel like if they had banned the Kalista instead of the Alistar, we'd see just an Ezreal lane instead here for DPLUS. I think they had both prepped and ready to go. Two different sides of the coin, very different styles of playing that bottom lane, but it's going to be double 80 carry no matter what. You're going to have to set up with the Maokai for the Ezreal. Now you have insane push. The Rakan can offer back a lot of engage here and can set up nicely for the Zeri if he gets a flank angle, but it's so reliant on map control when we get to these mid-game fights, because otherwise the Rakan's just going to get sussed out, get found, maybe even just caught by a Nature's Grasp on his way trying to find his angle, that he just dies and the fight is over before it starts. There's no protection here outside of the Emperor's Divide in terms of peel for the Zeri in a team fight. The Cassante, if he can get through the laning phase, can be that solid front line to get
It would have been so good, because we could have then had Santa Claus and the Christmas tree in the same game. Instead, the Christmas tree is by himself, or is he? He's found a whole bunch of friends here on the bottom side. He's trying to walk his way out, and that is going to be a flash used. The grand entrance was good. They spotted Sylvie. That meant that Lucid wanted nothing to do with it. So that's just a kind of free flash there that they really started to look fellable, right? Like, this was where we really did see a renaissance, as now Kingan's in a bit of trouble. Sylvie moving on up. Let's see when the flash is going to be used, or if. And he decides to hold on to it. Felt like he was checkmated, and I think he might have been right. Yeah. Sylvie able to capitalize at the same time. Him getting first blood, not a bad thing. As Arise, the Sand Soldiers come out. There's the Emperor's Divide to push Showmaker away. And Fisher says that's enough. I delivered my message. You got it loud and clear. As the Drake is going to be taken. Next one going to be a Cloud. As in goes Showmaker. I don't know about that one. As Sylvie comes on in. Showmaker does get the reset though. And he'll be able to make his way out. So
scary moment there for Showmaker. Definitely a lot of...
wanted to even the trade, you know? Like we were saying that he didn't have to use his ultimate. Well, just wanted to make sure he puts it on cooldown so they're on even footing. So that's a whole wave. Jiwoo misses out on. Nice handshake there as Jiwoo going to get flashed after the hostile takeover. Just barely connects. As there's the Fate's Call. Sylvie in a good position though. And now the double knock-up is really good. I think Kellen understanding that he is definitely dead, and even the Pierce is going to miss. Aiming actually moving towards them. I don't know about that one, as Kellen is going to still be alive for now, but they're just staggering the backs, I guess. There we go. Jiwoo's going to be able to lock down the second kill for NONGSHIM, and despite these lanes have looked like it's DPLUS's control, it still says 0-2 at the top of the scoreboard.
Cougar positioned really well there to make sure there was no way Aiming could have all-in him, gotten the kill, and then gotten a reset there for Kellen to come back in. Meanwhile,
yeah, Jiwoo going to throw down the ulti. Aiming just trying to dance his way out. Does so quite nicely. Martial pose, pretty good. Making sure that the burst fires are as difficult to land as possible.
Kingan in the top side as Sylvie is alone.
Yeah, is fully aware of what's going on here, but Kellen turning up might turn the tides. Nice handshake is going to come on through. Lucid actually is thinking about it now. There's the flash, wants to get the twisted advance, but there is the brambles coming out. Nature's Grasp going to get blocked there by Guga. And Sylvie will be absolutely fine. I don't think that they were expecting Guga to be right there in time. Like, cooldowns seem to be in a weird spot in this game. As Kingan just flashing. Dindin looking for the all-out opportunity. He'll find it as Sylvie, he's making his way up. And I think Kingan has gotten that bad news again. He's trying to hop around. It does not work out. And Sylvie's going to do it once again. Both of his kills onto Kingan. Hasn't died yet. Is definitely good. As now Fisher, he may not necessarily be so lucky, but he flashes out of the handshake and is able to shift the sands over the wall. Shelly going to get ignored for a few moments, but should get started up once again.
Dindin has teleport and is going to pressure this bottom turret, so DPLUS need to do something fast here. Otherwise, they're a bit on a timer at the moment. That might be the whole turret going down. He's got demolished, so Fisher has ult.
He is rotating up. There's the Nature's Grasp. Over the wall goes Lucid, and immediately he flashes back. Fate's Call comes in. Decent hostile takeover, but Jiwoo is kind of okay. Just over the wall. Kellen now getting in there. Emperor's Divide onto 3, but it's a double. Just straight out of nowhere. Still, it's going to be the Rift Herald secured by Jiwoo, who's in a really weird spot. Dindin turns up. He is an absolute raid boss. As Lucid and Kingan are trying to deal with the Zeri, and they will be successful. Aiming, not so much. Did he get any of those kills? I don't think so, so not going to be celebrating 2,000. Nope, not just yet. But still, the best news here for DPLUS, as he's out of there. Kingan unseen.
I mean, I really like the way NONGSHIM played the map for this one because they had the threat of the teleporting Dundun, right? They pulled the Tristana down. They had the numbers advantage. They were pulling the Herald at that moment. Fisher was in a good position with Emperor's Divide, but it's a really clean engage from Lucid and Kellen, actually. Nature's Grass comes out first. He blast cones in, catches Jiwoo through the wall here, and then the hostile takeover prevents any sort of follow-up here. This allows Kingen to get in position. He's got his Narbar ready, and I think Fisher really didn't want to use his ultimate initially there to get only one target. He wanted the big one, but by the time he does, the fight is nearly over. Dundun does end up winning that other side as we jump out of the replay. Whoa! That's why.
That was a massive jump scare. Thank you very much for that one. I know there's some cool horror movies coming out, Jonas Strong, but you did not need to prepare. It's just a surprise Dundun straight out of the brush.
NONGSHIM, they call them solo lanes for a reason, not supposed to be a duo in there.
Exactly! What's going on? And Kingen now with a great Narbar position. And that crash is an odd one. Dundun is just going to get thrown, but does manage to buffer the anti-CC. Kellen flash handshake, doesn't quite get there as Lucid on that flank angle. Twisted advance to try and buy him some space. Hostile takeover to save the tree, and Guga goes down. Dundun, he's going to try and be a hero. He goes all out into the death chamber, and that is going to be the kill for Showmaker. And that is... It's been a little bit of a problem. Sylvie, though, still going to be able to find Kellen here, who does complete a Warmogs and tries to bail himself out, and it does absolutely nothing. So that's a second kill for Jiwoo.
I won't certify it, but he is starting to become a bit of a threat in this game, and this game has been a lot more about the AD carry in the mid lane than it's been about the AD carry in the bottom lane here for D+, so anything else. But the Soul will be useful when we consider the bailout power and how much more oomph you can get below 50%, but D+ just starting this Baron up now, and NONGSHIM just have no real vision here, but they're not fully grouped, so once Sylvie susses this out, I think we will absolutely see a contest. Dundun has teleport, he's rushing over. Kingen also can find an angle, he's just going to TP right onto it.
I mean, this is going down so incredibly quickly. Nature's Grasp going to be used here, and so can they actually do anything? No, they can't. The control of the pit is just too high for this Maokai composition. And DK, it's highway robbery.
Yeah, and it's also the Baron pit that has the bowling alley.
Yeah. Bowling alley Baron, actually ridiculous for the Maokai. You're absolutely right. It's Guga. Oh dear, he's just going to explode. Hostile takeover comes in, doesn't really get too much done, but NONGSHIM still find themselves in a really awkward position. All out takes Dundun like to 1,000,000 kilometers away, and he just gets thrown into a wall and taken down. But that was not the journey he was looking for.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Sylvie in the mist. There's a flash forward from Kellen. He finds a handshake onto Guga, who puts out the quickness and is immediately taken over hostilely. And I don't think Sylvie's getting out of this one. There's going to be the chain CC. Twisted advance just to continue the fight. They take down the tree, but the Buster is too powerful. And aiming quickly. Flash in, get the rend. There it is. 2,000 kills. As D+ at least managed to get him that before they end the game. That's going to be the ace, and that should be the end.
There it is. Aiming gets the last lap, the final kill, the cherry on top of a dominant performance the D+ fans were hoping for today. Sure, a bit shaky in some of the fourth plays early, but they had map control from start to finish, and NONGSHIM looked a little bit lost in this one. A clean 2-0 for D+, their fourth win of the season, propelling themselves close to that second place mark here. And Lucid has come back in such a big way here in spring.
Oh, he has. He's looked absolutely fantastic. I think that this is another example of not necessarily the ultra cleanest, but I really did like the thought process behind what D+ were trying to do, even if it didn't necessarily work. I felt like in the early game, a lot of those answers NONGSHIM had were really good. It was just the holistic view of the game.